everyone, welcome to Growth Gatherings. Today we have a very special guest, Omar Jahangir Khan. He is running a fitness facility in Pakistan, which started in Karachi and now they have several branches across Pakistan. Omar is a young entrepreneur. He graduated from SOAS University last year. Another additional information and very important information about Omar Jahangir Khan, he's the son of our famous squash player, Jahangir Khan. Jahangir Khan is the world's greatest squash player who won 555 matches from 1981 to 1986. So we are really, really happy and pleased to welcome Omar Jahangir Khan.
Thank you so much.
Omar, you graduated last year
Yes, I did.
and now you're running a very successful fitness or wellness facility, I would say, because it's an ecosystem. It's just not a gym or a pedal
Mhm.
court. So tell us about that. How did you get into it and how are you finding it?
So initially, right after university, my dad asked me to come help him
Hmm.
with whatever he's working on, which is Legends Arena, as well as JKC, which is a partner with them.
Hmm.
And initially, I was involved more so with operations at JKC.
Hmm.
And recently, I've been given more responsibility and put in charge of Legends Fitness, which is the gym that's in Legends Arena.
Hmm.
So, so far, I've been finding it great. It was challenging at first, especially because I was given a lot of responsibility
Hmm.
quite abruptly, I would
Huh.
think. And then now, after 3-4 months over there, I think I've integrated pretty well,
Yeah.
and I'm finding it great so far.
Yeah, and tell me one thing. So it started in 2023,
Yes.
a year before you joined.
Yeah.
But when I visited the facility a few months ago, I
Mhm.
mean, it's buzzing with great energy.
Yeah.
And what I hear that after the success, there are many other pedal courts or similar model
Mhm.
that people are picking up. But is it easy? Because in our country, fitness is, in fact, I would say in sort of South Asian,
Mm.
we're sort of now learning to be more fit. So tell us, what do you observe as consumer behavior?
Mhm.
And is it a profitable model from a business perspective?
So, in terms of consumer behavior, I would definitely say, especially Karachi, it wasn't a very active city in terms of physical activity.
Hmm.
There were a lot of other things people preferred doing. Other than that, they preferred going out to eat, hanging
Hmm.
out with the friends at their houses more so. I think what Legends Arena has done, and they sort of revolutionized the way people think
Hmm.
in a way. And now people want to go out and play sports, be active. They think about their physical well-being, and I think that's something that has changed the way people's mindsets go about their way. And in terms of a profitable business model, if you go to Legend Arena any time of the day, there will be people there. And it's something that's worked very well so far. And that's why we've been expanding, because we think it's something that could be used across the country as well. So recently we opened another couple of paddle courts in Islamabad as well. And that was our next venture, and we're hoping to expand even further.
Yeah, and when I visited, what I found very interesting that people are booking their. I mean, firstly, there's a long queue, so you just
Yeah.
can't walk in, and it can be, the bookings are for 2 a.m. in the
Mhm.
morning,
Yes, every
3
day.
a.m. So it's crazy, right?
Hmm.
So 24 hours, your facility is open. How
Pretty
do you
much,
guys
yes.
manage it?
So of course, at the beginning, there was a lot of trial and error,
Hmm.
figuring out what model works, what doesn't work.
Hmm.
Now, I think it's sort of a bit more automatic in terms
Hmm.
of we know what works and we know how to run things in the way that everyone's able to work. So we have specific shifts for staff, for example.
Hmm.
Like staff, there's a morning to evening shift and then evening to night shift.
Hmm.
So we can, especially on the weekends, courts are booked till 4, 5 a.m.
Hmm.
sometimes, and 5, 6 p.m. onwards, all the courts. We have now 9 courts for
Hmm.
paddle. They're booked 6 p.m. onwards. It's hard for me to get a booking also.
Yes.
So it's you have to know 3, 4 days in advance sometimes to get a booking.
Yeah.
So I think that's great though, personally, because it shows that people actually do want to be involved and be physically well.
I think so. And tell us about your concept behind the gym, because when I visited, it wasn't just a gym facility. There were several other areas and more holistic.
Yeah.
So, what is the idea behind wellness
Hmm.
there, and who is using that facility?
So the gym, Legends Fitness,
Hmm.
that's what I'm been put in charge of
Hmm.
and what I manage over there. So the idea behind it is we want to create an integrated, holistic experience for
Hmm.
everyone. that it's not just a gym. It's
Mm.
also there's physiotherapists there.
Mm.
There's IV drip infusions. We have wellness rooms, which include a jacuzzi, steam
Mm.
room, a cold plunge as well, which is basically becomes a spa.
Mm.
We have a lot of studio classes, which involve people of all different kinds,
Mm.
kids, adults, women, senior citizens. So we're looking to create something that can all be found under one roof.
Mm.
And it's more than just a gym. It's a complete wellness experience. And
Mm.
that's what we were aiming to do with it.
Amazing. So, slightly shifting gears,
Hmm.
question about Gen Z. So, there are a lot of articles, perceptions that Gen Z, they're lazy
Hmm.
and it's very difficult to work with them. And there you are running in the facility, working with the very senior people, including your dad.
Yes.
So, firstly, tell me, is it true that Gen Z, they are moody and they are, a bit difficult to work with?
I mean, to be fair, I don't personally work with Gen Z that
Hmm.
much. I'm Gen Z myself,
Yes.
but I work with people who are either older than me or are around my age. And
Yes.
personally, I've never understood the idea that Gen Z are lazy.
Hmm.
I think it's a different environment that we've been put under than compared to people who are seen as more active and different lifestyles.
Hmm.
I think, especially with the advancements in social media,
Hmm.
it's made life very different
Hmm.
for people my age.
Hmm.
So things that were more valued back in the day are sort of taken for granted now by us, I
Hmm.
think. But we have different sort of things that we are more accomplished in.
Hmm.
I believe Gen Z is more accomplished in themselves.
Hmm.
So I think our real test will come in the next few years. I think that perception of Gen Z being lazy, uh, not entirely true. I do agree that there are lazy people
Hmm.
that are Gen Z, but just like that, millennials have been lazy also. But
Correct, in
I
all
believe that.
generation. What excites you? What motivates you? Because another trend that we are seeing that people they make very dramatic decisions about their career. Right? When I started my career many years ago,
Hmm.
so you would join a corporate or your family's business, and you sort of grow in ranks there. But
Yeah.
today I see Gen Z for various reasons. Maybe they are more aware. Um they make difficult decisions, that
Hmm.
is they switch their career. So do you know what motivates you, or when
Hmm.
you sit with your friends,
Yeah.
what are they looking for in a potential employer or the kind of business they want to set up?
So I think personally what excites me is that I want to be involved somewhere where I can actually make a difference
Hmm.
and not just be there as like a placeholder of
Hmm.
sorts. I want to be somewhere where I can actually make some sort of impact
Hmm.
on other people, including the people I work with,
Hmm.
and create a community of
Hmm.
people. Especially right now, the field I'm in, my mindset is that I want to create a community of people
Hmm.
where people have a positive experience with us.
Hmm.
And that's my main aim, that I want to be part of that. And I want to make sure that everyone can enjoy together. And it's not something that's just there, but
Hmm.
it's something that is there for everyone across the whole city.
Another question.
Mhm.
Was it easy to come back to Pakistan because you've studied abroad, lived
Yeah.
abroad, and then because that's another thing we see, especially in our part of the world,
Yeah.
where students they aspire to leave the country and
Mhm.
start their life. What has been your experience relocating back and settling down here?
So personally, I didn't have that much of an issue with it because I've grown up here my whole life. My first 18, 19 years were all spent in Karachi in the
Hmm.
same house
Hmm.
with the same people around me. So I think going out of the country for 3, 4 years didn't really change my mindset of coming back here.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, I think there's so much opportunity in Pakistan for things to improve and things to get better. I think it's important for me personally. I would want to come back here and be a part of change
Hmm.
rather than be somewhere where it's already established
Hmm.
and just be, as I said, another placeholder. And that
Hmm.
like I want to be part of something bigger.
Hmm. And that's amazing, right? That's
Mm,
why I think if you have a bigger purpose, it's easier to work towards that goal.
yeah.
And what sort of challenges do you face, and particularly working or reporting to your
Mm,
dad or your sort of senior family
yeah.
members? So, how do you guys resolve conflict or different ideas?
So, I mean, he's the boss, obviously, and that's very clear. And I want to, every time we're in the workplace, I know he's the boss. He's
Yes,
not my dad.
correct.
He's the boss.
Hmm.
So I think one, it's very humbling experience working under him
Hmm.
because everyone knows what he's
Hmm.
accomplished, what he's done,
Hmm.
and so there's no doubt regarding him. I think personally for me, um, it's not an issue reporting to him because I think there's boundaries that I've
Hmm.
personally set and he also has said. So we know that in the workplace, we're working.
Mm.
It's not just father and son.
Mm.
And I think the toughest part for me in that has been not being perceived as just his son, as
Yeah.
being perceived as something, as my own person as well,
Yes.
because that's a challenge. But that's what I'm trying to go towards, and being and showcasing, yes, I do belong here and I have to earn that. And it's not just something that's been given.
That's right. And
Mm,
it is often a problem, a good problem to have, but when
mm,
you have such a great
yeah,
personality
of
at home,
course.
I mean, that's how people associate. But I think what stood out for me when I visited your facility, you
Mm,
were at the counter
mm,
and you were greeting everyone.
mm,
And, that's how when I visited and I inquired about the facility, you were quite open, which I thought was quite nice. So I did not know who you were,
mm,
right? Which is amazing, which is a great start that you're not really relying or telling people who you are, but
mm,
rather establishing yourself. Any advice that your dad has given you that you like to share with others? Because there are a lot of youngsters who may
mm,
be aspiring to set up their business or starting their career life or maybe in between.
mm,
So, something that he's told you that has worked for you
mm.
and you like to share?
I think the main thing that he shared for me is that if you genuinely do put in the work and you know yourself, you put in the
Hmm.
work, there will be a good result that comes from it.
Hmm.
And that's something that I've learned also.
Hmm.
Because there's been times where I've been, as a Gen Z, I guess, lazy,
Hmm.
and then I haven't had results to
Hmm.
show for it. But
Hmm.
then there's been times where, especially recently, where I've worked hard to
Hmm.
try to establish something
Hmm.
and it's worked very well. And I
Hmm.
think if you put in the effort, the
Hmm.
results definitely will show for it.
Hmm.
Even if it might not be exactly where you want it to be, they will show.
And any learning, I know it's early days, but
Mm-hmm.
something in the last 12 months that you felt you could have done it differently,
Mm-hmm.
work related, any decision, anything that you did and you felt it didn't really work out the way you thought.
I can't really think of a specific decision, but I think what I learned while working was that, especially in a business place, things go wrong all the time.
Hmm.
And where they go wrong more than they go right most of the time
Hmm.
sometimes. And I think the thing that I learned was the ability to deal with that and to understand that there will be issues
Hmm.
and that sometimes I will make mistakes.
Hmm.
There'll be decisions I make which
Hmm.
might not work out that well.
Hmm.
But as long as you pick and choose and you choose right more than you choose wrong, I think it's going to be a good experience
Hmm.
for you and for other people as well.
So, Omar, I have a question.
Okay.
Why didn't you continue your father's legacy
For squash?
for squash?
So I definitely did play squash when I was younger.
Hmm.
And from about 4 to 6, 7 years old, I was playing squash quite regularly.
Hmm.
And I think my father realized before I did that I'm just not that interested in the
Hmm.
sport personally. And when I was very young, I obviously didn't have that much of a grasp on the situation. Also, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is
Hmm.
one of the best athletes of all time, and that it's a family tradition for squash.
Hmm.
When I was younger, I didn't understand that, but at the end of the day, I can only thank my father because he knew that, like, if he doesn't want to do it, then there's no point. And he
Yeah.
never pressured me, never pushed me to do anything, despite what other people always said. I've never heard from him that you should have carried it on or
Hmm.
anything like that. Other people always said it, like, you should have played squash. And now I've gotten to the point that as long as my family's okay with it, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and I think there's a great lesson here, and that's why I think you're very confident and very happy
Hmm.
doing what you're doing because your dad understood, right?
Hmm.
Because especially in Asian families, there's a lot of pressure, right?
Very,
From
yes.
from parents that your dad was this or your mom was this,
Hmm.
and you should follow this. So I think allowing that space
Hmm.
I think is brilliant.
Yeah,
So that's another learning I think for everyone
hmm,
that kids can follow their path and you should just be there as a guide. I
exactly.
think that's what you're explaining and it's wonderful.
Exactly.
And how do you stay fit? What's your routine like?
So, actually, recently I got surgery on my knee
Hmm.
because while I was representing my university in football in England,
Hmm.
I tore my ACL and both my meniscuses, and
Hmm.
I got surgery for it in March 1st this year.
Hmm.
So I think physical wellness has been something that I've had a sort of epiphany on a little
Hmm.
bit, that I know, okay, yeah, I need to stay physically fit because after my surgery for the first 2 months, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk, put any weight
Yeah.
on my leg, and this is the least fit I've ever been in my life, and I hate it. And
Hmm.
it affects your mental ability also,
Hmm.
and that's what I've learned, that physical wellness and mental ability and mental wellness go hand in hand,
They're interconnected.
100%. And
Hmm.
that's something that I've learned also. Now that I'm working at a gym, I'm finding it a bit easier to get back into that
Hmm.
routine. And So what I basically do now is that I try to set out a time, usually at around 9 p.m. when I'm sort of done with work, that okay, this is my 1 hour, 1.5 hours to exercise, do some sort of exercise, and I try to make it a non-negotiable and try to get that done every day.
But you know what, sitting here, what
Mhm.
I'm thinking, and I've always had office job or lots of
Yeah,
travel, it is difficult to take the time out. And I
yeah.
see this problem for many executives or individuals who are doing a desk job,
Hmm.
right? Um, so, what is the solution for them, or what's your view? How do you motivate them, or people
Hmm.
like myself who get into a certain kind of routine where we exercise daily, or we have some kind of a fitness routine?
I think that, as I said, physical wellness interconnects with mental well-being and
Hmm.
also creates a positive environment in the workplace also. Because let's say you do exercise in the morning, for
Hmm.
example, I think you'll have a much more positive outlook on the rest of the day.
Hmm.
And if you do that regularly,
Hmm.
you have, if, as a leader, especially if you have a positive outlook and whoever you're working with see that also, they in turn would also have a positive outlook that the person who is our leader is doing this, so we can definitely do it also. So I think in that aspect, it definitely plays a role and it creates a positive mindset for everyone.
It does. And there are so many studies that confirm that, even if you're feeling low or you have a bad day, if you
Yeah.
work out, you feel better.
Yes.
And definitely mental sharpness, it gets better. So there are lots of benefits. You don't have to use the gym. You can use the courts, or
Exactly.
you can just do yoga, or get some physiotherapy. So it's a bit
Exactly.
like of interconnectedness of all the sort of various activities.
Exactly. I think that's the best part about it, that everything, almost everything physical well-being wise
Hmm.
can be found in that one facility.
Yes.
And I think that's the best part about it. If you have an injury, you can go to the physiotherapist. If you want specific training for a sport, there are coaches here who can help you. If
Hmm.
you want to go to the gym, there's an entire gym there.
Hmm.
And if you want to play almost any type of sport, you can play it there: badminton, football, paddle, cricket,
Hmm.
tennis. You name it, we probably have it.
Yeah. And how do you get a membership there, or how does it work?
So there's two different models. One for Legends Arena, which is pay as you go,
Hmm.
which per booking is
Hmm.
charged. That there's no membership there. For the gym, it's a membership, a monthly, 3 months, 6 months, or
Okay.
12 months membership. So the actual paddle courts and football and all that, there's no memberships for that. But that just when you have a booking, you pay for the booking, and then that's what you do there.
Okay. Perfect. So while talking about mental health,
Hmm.
right, and there's a deep connection with physical well-being.
Yeah.
One area that I like to touch upon is depression,
Okay.
right? When there is depression,
Hmm.
clinical depression, I mean,
Yeah.
having a physical routine,
Hmm.
does it help? Of course, you do need clinical support and
Obviously.
doctors' psychiatric help, but I mean, does it help reduce or eventually get better,
Hmm.
uh, especially if you're depressed or any other sort of mental health issues?
I think so. I think any sort of physical activity, whether it's going to the gym, playing a sport, that has a positive mindset, it has a positive effect on your mind.
Hmm.
And now, when I was injured, for example, and I was on bed rest for 6, 7 weeks,
Hmm.
I'm a very active person. I played sports my whole life.
Hmm.
For that time period, I feel lost my identity.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying I was depressed or
Hmm.
clinically depressed or anything like that, but not being able to be active had a very negative effect on me personally.
Hmm.
So, me personally, I would say 100% any sort of physical activity
Hmm.
helps out. And I have so many friends who say they're in a negative space in their head,
Hmm.
and then they did start working out and their mindset did switch.
Hmm.
And now I'm not saying it's the cure for it,
Correct.
but I'm saying it definitely does help.
Yeah, it does. I mean,
Yeah.
the clinical side is different, but if
Mm,
you have sort of minor anxiety or
mm,
stress or overthinking, those kind of thought patterns, then clearly a little bit of activity helps. And sometimes you don't have to have a very rigid routine. It just can be a body movement.
yeah.
Last thing on fitness, because now I'm taking the other extreme where
Mm,
people are becoming so conscious about their body
mm,
that is also impacting their mental
yeah.
well-being, and then sometimes they're overstretching themselves.
Mm,
Is there anything, any observation you have, and any recommendation? Because there's a lot of pressure
mm,
in terms of being fit.
yeah. especially nowadays, I feel a lot more on social media also.
Hmm.
I see a lot of teenagers who are especially going to the gym that have muscles bigger than like bodybuilders.
Hmm.
And it's unnatural that they're taking certain
Hmm.
supplements, certain things that they shouldn't be taking.
Hmm.
And I think that's become a sort of different type of pressure for people.
Hmm.
Uh, Personally, for me, like as I said, that my physical well-being is very important also, but I think there is a limit to it. That if you do go beyond and you have to start doing other things in order to enhance yourself, I think that's where you have to try to draw the line. That it's not just that's not your whole identity, and that's something for me that when I was playing sports very actively, that sort of became my identity. Like I play a lot of football, so I'm a football player or something like that. I think it's very important to have a certain thing that you're very good at, but have certain other things outside also, that you're not just linked to one thing, that your entire personality is not just,
Yeah, you're not defined
you're
by
not
your
defined by
body,
your fitness,
by
just
your
your
fitness.
fitness.
Yes, and of course, if you're taking any supplements, then always there are nutritionists, dietitians,
Mm,
doctors.
exactly,
Because if you take it without any supervision, the chances are it can create more harm for us than
exactly.
adding any. We may look good,
Yeah,
but it may internally impact us.
exactly.
Now, thank you. Now we're getting into an interesting sort of 5 second slot, which is a rapid fire
All right.
and very tough questions, I have to tell
Sure.
you.
Let's see.
Let's see. And it has to be very brief, right?
Okay.
Very brief and very fast.
Okay.
Biggest win so far for you?
Members' satisfaction
Hmm.
has been very high, and I think that's something that I'm very happy about personally.
Okay, so before I move on to the next, what's the magic there? What do you do?
And the gym,
Yes.
I think the magic is that I wanted to make a space very inviting for employees, first of all, that
Hmm.
they themselves are very avid on having people be happy. And I have employees coming to me now saying like, "Oh, look what we did! Look,"
Hmm.
and they're very happy about it themselves. That okay,
Hmm.
yeah, it's working, And I think that's a bit of the magic there.
That's interesting. So you're starting from employees because they say happy employees create happy customers.
Exactly, yeah.
So very smart. Second one, hardest lesson from dad.
I think do your own thing, sort of a little bit.
Hmm.
That you don't have to follow in someone's footsteps. You can do your own thing. Be individualistic.
Yeah. And I think that also puts a sort of accountability on you that create your
Exactly,
own path,
exactly.
right? Which is amazing. Business motto you live by.
Show up every day.
Okay, something which is non-negotiable for you from health perspective. Something that you eat or a routine in your daily
Mm,
life that you say it's a non-negotiable. So let me tell you, for me,
okay.
it's lemon water in the morning.
Okay. In a fitness aspect, I think just 20 minutes of working out every day. It could be anything.
Anything.
It could be walking, it could be jogging, it could be lifting weights. Just 20 minutes. Give yourself
Yeah.
20 minutes.
And lastly, one thing you haven't figured out yet.
I think how to unplug myself mentally from the
Yeah.
workplace. Because there's times at night that I'm still thinking about, oh, this, I have to do this and I have to do that. I think that's been the toughest part so
Yeah.
far.
And that's true for many, but it also the flip side is because you're probably very passionate about it,
Maybe, yeah.
and
I
that's
think
why
so.
it's difficult to switch off or
Mm,
not to think about it.
yeah.
But thank you so much, Omar, for
Thank you.
joining us,
Of course.
and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.